I mean, I was put under pressure to fold by Shimza.
The person that I respond to is Nota.
You've been sued a couple of times.
I've faced millions in losses to lawsuits.
You've paid?
Yeah, I mean, we took him to court for some of the things that he said there because, like,
I've paid partly, paid a couple 100,000 rands. I've got like hundreds of thousands of rands in my bank accounts that are frozen that I can't access.
Well, how do you feel with this thing that's always following you? Like, you get tenders.
You are in close proximity.
Apparently, Shimza got the tender because his manager got a call from...
He's being paid by the government already, I get.
If you're sued by someone whose girlfriend works for the president, the case gets sent straight to court.
Because untanga ran the fridge, so we couldn't take anything from his place.
It's nice to be broke knowing you've got money somewhere than to be broke with no hope of...
Meaning you won. By 10. Meaning you won.
No, wait. This one is slice.
Yesterday on Podcast and Chill with MacGD, Jay Shimza finally spoke about one person whose name always causes chaos in the music industry, Nota Bayoli. And if you don't know who Nota is, just know this. If South African entertainment was a WhatsApp group, Nota would be that one guy who is always typing, even when nobody asked anything. To understand why Shimza even had something to say, you have to go back a few years. Because this is not something that started yesterday. This is history. The tension between Shimza and Nota mostly played out on Twitter, now X, where Nota is famous for criticizing artists, producers, and industry leaders. And Shimza was one of the people he targeted. At one point, things even went legal.
There was nothing.
What was your first interaction with Nota in the game?
Bro, you know, like, unfortunately, bro, like, Unota, I used to book Questa a lot.
Yeah, of course, yes.
Yeah, and I remember, bro, there was a day when it was my one-man show in Tembisa, and we had booked Questa, and Waras was there as the MC, right? And they almost had a fight because Nota didn't want to go off stage or whatever. But I remember even when I went to try and speak to him, he was fucking rude to me.
Whoa.
You know, and then Waras sort of like, it was a whole thing, you know. I remember even texting Questa after that saying, bro, like, I didn't appreciate how your team treated everyone around them. And it was him, you know. But I don't know.
Shimza actually took Nota to court after Nota made claims about him online, and the court ruled that Nota must pay damages of about 200,000 rands for defamation. Yes. This beef even reached the courtroom, from Twitter fingers to legal papers. That is when you know it is serious.
Because he also tweeted some shit about you, man. He made several disparaging comments about his relationship with Ati.
Oh, yeah.
And he's a small boy in Europe now where Master KG is a king. His career was over when he decided to disrespect Amapiano. Now he shares his girlfriend with his blesser, Cyril Ramaphosa. What a loser. Leading to a defamation lawsuit.
Wow.
Yeah, this is Nota, what he tweeted.
Yeah, I mean, we took him to court for some of the things that he said there because, like, you can't just come online and say...
Wait, some of the things, so some of the other things are true?
There's nothing that's true there, man. That's just Nota being Nota, you know, like
Yeah.
And of course, because this is Nota, it did not end there. Even after the legal issues, the two continued throwing jabs online from time to time. At one point, they even exchanged insults publicly after a social media post connected to Nsiki Mazwai, with screenshots spreading quickly online. Basically, every few months, new episode. Simcast.
I was put under pressure to fold by Shimza. You know what I mean?
You've been sued a couple of times.
That's result, dude. That's why I said, you know, I've faced millions in losses to lawsuits.
You've paid?
I've paid partly. Paid a couple 100,000 rands. I've got like hundreds of thousands of rands in my bank accounts that are frozen that I can't access right now, which is a bit frustrating. But it's nice to be broke knowing you've got money somewhere than to be broke with no hope of ever getting any money anyway. So I guess that's the one part. But I mean, it just shows how two-tiered our justice system is. You know, if you're sued by someone whose girlfriend works for the president, the case gets sent straight to court. And saying my case was in the courts within 2 months, was wrapped up within 1 week. Judgment, everything, having the sheriff freeze my accounts and everything. And you just imagine, Yeah, he tells me, yeah, listen, we've been sent this by the court or by the sheriff. You know what I mean? You can't access the monies in your account. So that is like a big fold. And even now I'm trying to fight my way out of that, you know. But it stems from the cookout with Somizi at Hangout. Apparently Shimza got the tender because his manager got a call from the government and none of the due processes were followed. But because his girlfriend works for the president and certain judges are partial to people who they feel are close to the president, he then decided that me tweeting about what I'd seen on Checkpoint, on E! News or whatever the channel is, meant that I was defaming. I was taking Shimza's dignity.
That's really swag.
Intentionally.
That's really swag.
And then also, he didn't think to say, okay, but why isn't Shimza suing Checkpoint? You know what I mean? Because they're the ones that brought this up. And why isn't Shimza suing any of the other people that tweeted about this? Because as soon as Ati, Shimza's girlfriend, posted the picture, Shimza's girlfriend of 11 years,
yeah,
I have to say that in your defense.
Another moment that brought their tension back into conversation happened when Nota criticized Shimza for not publicly posting a tribute for the late DJ Waras. Nota questioned why Shimza was quiet online about it, which again caused debate among fans. But social media quickly defended Shimza, saying, "Not everyone mourns on Twitter. Some people cry in private. Others cry on Instagram stories. And others cry in the bank app when debit orders go off." What makes this interesting is that Nota has had disagreements with many people in the industry, not just Shimza. So when Shimza talks about him, it becomes part of a bigger story about how artists deal with criticism in public. Some ignore it. Some respond. Shimza clearly chose to respond when necessary. And honestly, South African entertainment without Nota drama would probably be too peaceful.
Comes as a son to me. He's a younger nigga. You understand? What is my son? I'm Boris Pops.
Podcast topics would finish early, and some YouTube channels would run out of content. But we are not complaining. Content is content. So when DJ Shimza spoke about Nota on Podcast and Chill, it wasn't just a random mention. It was part of a long history of tension, criticism, legal drama, and social media exchanges. And knowing this background makes that conversation make much more sense. Because in South African entertainment, at this point, Nota is not just part of the music industry, he is part of the entertainment industry's drama department.
Mina you want. By 10, mina you want.
No, wait, this one
You
is
must slice.